the breakthrough that Mao Mao was looking for has kind of happened, but not really, as it's been things that she, I guess, wasn't necessarily looking for, figuring out things about the old man and his role possibly in the past, and a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on through her investigation in the archives. So I'm curious to see where these developments and these things kind of lead to. I think we need a bit more information about certain characters and things within the situations, and maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's kind of pieced everything together and she can kind of just lay it out for us here. But where I was left at the end of the last episode left me having plenty of questions and wondering if certain things in which I felt were kind of needed were omitted for certain reasons, to leave you kind of speculating, but also doing it probably in a form that allows you to actually solve and know what's going on. If you're smarter than I am, which most people are, but we'll be able to kind of figure it out from this point on, I'm assuming, with whatever probably gets presented here. Unless they decide to say, nah, screw that, we're going to put that in the back, and then they can still focus and learn about it as time goes on, but we've got some other things to focus on here, which also could be the situation, but I don't believe that we'll do that, and I think that we'll get direct focus once again here, and we're going to have some questions probably answered. Maybe not, though. Maybe we'll just propose more questions, and then they'll get answered the next time. Who really knows? I'm excited to find out, though. If you like it all, like and subscribe to me, not to be feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave in the comments about this episode or series. This is a Toho show. It will be liked at some point. If there is no reaction portion within this video here, just check the link in the description or in the comments, and you'll be able to find the link to the actual reaction. And let's get going with episode 11. Acting on your newly found information.
抑揚碑からの文
Oh.
ええ、直接お届けするようにと。
アードー様は茶会に出ているのだけど
Oh.
フォンミン様にお話ししたいことがあります。
Oh.
わかったわ
I don't know what she showed her, but she showed her something important. Don't let her talk to you while she's holding a fucking cleaver. We don't do
整
that.
理されている。ということはやっぱり。
She's ready to bounce at any time. Or she has plans to go now, but I don't think that'd be the case.
それで今日は一体どうしたの
You very well
大
know
掃
I'm
除はもう
here.
十分よ
いつ引っ越されるの？新年の挨拶とともに新しい上級妃を迎えるためにこの
Oh.
宮を去らねばならない。
Gotcha. That clears some confusion I had
ア
lost
ード
though.
妃はもう子を産めないのですね。
Gotcha.
関係ない話ではないです。
It involves somebody important to me.
出産の場にいたのは私の父なので。
Uh-oh. You know a little too much, Mao Mao. Oh, fuck.
アード妃の出産は後回しにされた。
Mm-hmm. I don't even know why I didn't think about that. Of course it would be less of a priority.
その時ですね。アード妃が子宮を失ったのは。
Hmm.
赤子の死因はこの間の毒を白い事件と同じだと思われていますが、それは違いますよね。
What a
あなたの言う
face.
そのヤブ医者はおしろいを使うのを禁じてたはずです。聡明なあなたがそれによって赤子を死なせることはない。
But you
本当の死
honey,
因はこれです。
you poisonous
体の中
honey.
には毒のあるものも多い。鳥かぶとやレンゲツツジの
Okay, so a lot of the things I said last time definitely didn't happen, but some of them are clearer now and definitely are.
蜂蜜が需要にいいと与えていた薬が赤子にとって毒になること。
And then that's the whole Lishu thing as well, I'm assuming.
そして
I thought the child died instantly. I guess I'm off.
死因は謎として、当時医官だった私の父ルオメンは出産時の処置も含め度重なる失態により高級を追放されました。
Hmm.
実は赤子にとっては毒になると教えたんですね。アードー妃だけには知られたくなかった。自分が唯一の子を殺した。
Ah.
だから消そうと考えた。
Everyone who possibly
そ
could
の
have
人物こ
known.
そ妃は年上の嫁であるアードー妃に懐いていた。
Mm-hmm.
アードー妃もリーシュ妃のことを可愛がっていた。親元から離れた幼い娘ともう子供を持つことのできない女性。あなたはリーシュ妃から赤子の頃に蜂蜜を食べて死にかけたと知らされる。アードー妃にそれを聞かせないために リーシュ妃をザクロ級から追い返す。
Right, right.
やがて船艇が崩御してリーシュ妃は追い返された理由もわからぬ。二度と会うことはないと思われたリーシュ妃は再び高級に現れ、
I don't think anybody was expecting that.
何度もアードー妃に会いに来ようとする。
But she just kept getting in your
法を
way.
埋めないアードー妃の立場を守るため、そして蜂蜜の剣を隠すために
What an
あなた
evil
はリ
lady.
ーシュ妃のスープに
Oh
毒を
my
入れ
god. Who released you, honestly? She hasn't done anything wrong this whole time. Like, ever.
何でもいいのよ。
You cannot buy me. Well, maybe.
この方以外に仕えるべき人はいないと感じていたわ。女であり
Okay.
ながらしっかりした意志を持ち、東宮と同じ目線で話せる。アードー様を心から尊敬していた。
She seems like a
親の言う
likable
ことを
lady.
聞き、言われるがままに次女になった私と比べてどれほど衝撃を受けたことか。
She gave you some purpose, some direction.
アードー様の一番大切なものをこの手で奪ってしまったのよ。
Yes,
ア
you
ードー
did.
様が玉のように大切にしてきた赤子を。
Had to keep that inside to yourself all this time, too.
アードー様は私たちにこう言ったの。
皆が気に病む必要はない。子供は7つになるまでわからないものだ。少しの病気でコロリと死んでしまう。
Except it was...
天の命に従った。
Ugh.
どのような思いで仕えていたのだろう。
Why does she feel she's had to hide all of this for years and
ひ
years?
たすらアードー妃のために。わからない。私にはそこまで他人を大切に思える心がない。疲れた。弱みはできないし、せめて着替えて固定していたが必要なくてよかった。切られたら痛いからな。
And you know because...
ガオシュンに書き物を集めさせていたようだ。
ええ、何かわかるかと思いました。
Boy, I
無駄
learned
になってしまい
anything.
ました。ですね。
Why?
甘いな。
毒ですけどね。死ぬことはないので大丈夫ですよ。
I just like feeling a little bit numb. Retrace your steps. Oh no, she's climbing it. We gotta find the person from last time that was sitting up here.
アードー妃が高級を去るという。
おや、先客かい？
It is her.
この間、一杯付き合わないか？
Can't turn that down.
ありがとうございます。
男のようであろ？
そのように振る舞っているように見えます。
正直者だな。
This is because she feels like she
息子がこの手からいなく
lost.
なってからずっと、私は妃ではなく、皇帝の友人だったんだ。いや、友人に戻っていただけ。早く誰かに受け渡したかった。どうしてすがりついていたのだろう。
きっとここにいたのが誰であっても同じ話をしたのだ。
苦しかっただろうな。
Okay, but don't find out yourself.
そうですね。
バカ、みんなバカだ。
自殺だったのだ。アードー妃はそれに気づいていた。フォンミンは自殺に加担していたのかもしれない。
I'd assume
アー
so.
ドー妃に嫌疑がかからぬようにと冷たい水の中に沈んだ下女。知られたくない秘密を守り、自ら公主台に上がったフォンミン。
She's very loved.
アードー妃の意志にかかわらず、彼女のために命を懸ける者たちがいる。
何をしている？
Oh my god.
誰だよいきなり。
悪かったな。
Oh,
うわ、紳士様、な
the
ぜか。
perfect.
それは俺の方が聞きたい。
Buddy's a little, ooh.
話していただけますか。話してください。
寒いからや。
酒を飲んでいるのですか？
Yeah, he is.
付き合いだ。仕方ない。
付き合いね。このお方をそんな風に扱える人間がこの高級にもいるのだな。でもそれとこれと
Please let go.
ベタベタひっつく酔っ払いに付き合っていられない。よく考えると元は私が落ちてきて受け止めてもらったんだから、礼も言わずさっさと話せというのは
It's
失礼
not.
かもしれない。
Okay, sure. Oh, buddy.
もう少しだけだ。少しだけ温めてくれ。
What is going through Buddy's brain?
はなさそうだな。アード王妃は
It looks like they're literally the same person.
冠を返す。
Just a slight
あ
different
の
tint.
冠はしばらくの後、受代してくる娘に渡されることが決まっ
Oh, we're gonna have a whole new person to fucking deal with, dude.
た。
Wonder who it could be.
誰かに似ていると思ったが、人種様のことだったようだ。あの二人、服装を入れ替えた方がよっぽど。
I couldn't even tell.
入れ替える？
息子がこの手からいなくなってからずっと。
いなくなってから。死んで
That's what I said last time.
まるでまだ生きているようにも捉える
I thought I was wrong. Hold on. Hold on.
子供と当時の皇后の子供、二人がもし取り替えられていたとしたら、出産
Hold
の際
on.
アード妃は身に染みて分かっただろう。
何をする。まだアール王様が。皇后様が優先だ。
何が正しいのか判断などできなかったかもしれ
I mean, she probably could, but like, what is she gonna do?
俺の息子が助かったのであれば、それはアード妃の本望だっただろう。皇帝の弟が今微妙な立場にあることも、潔いはずのアード妃が高級を去らずとどまり続けた理由もわかるが。
So then connect the dots. Does that mean she is? Aww.
相変わらずですな。
Aww. The literal only fucking person who's ever been nice to her.
その時、青年のような凛々しい妃の顔が母親の顔に見えた。
関係者の名簿です。
さらわれて売り飛ばされたと聞いていたが。
One of my favorites probably in a while, which is interesting too because it's very, I don't know, we explored a lot of stuff and they talked a lot, and a lot of it was like speculation and things going through in Mao Mao's head too, but like just the conversations, the breakdowns that everyone was having, you know? We had 3 different people basically break down at some point in their own different ways. It really, I mean, I guess if you want to count Lishu too, we had 4. Really cool the way that they were able to do that and come full circle with having everything that we've kind of built up for many episodes now, the entirety of the series so far, I guess at this point in the background, and allow it all to kind of come back. And it answers a bunch of the questions and the things that I was very, confused on and didn't really know too much about going previously. Specifically the stuff with how like Lishu and the honey and all that stuff kind of like all connected in, because I was a bit confused where they came in versus where the thing with like the kids and the stuff that happened before, with Aldo-san and like everything happened. I was a little like off on like where the direct connection between the two are, but it makes sense now when you kind of put it all into one. So I believe the way that it's presented is supposed to make you believe, as all the episodes have, and we've talked about this extensively in some of the other discussions, is the idea of leaving things kind of open-ended, leaving things in a way that Mama is kind of like, this is what happened, but also in her mind being like, this and this and this could have happened, or maybe this isn't what happened, but like just kind of coming to her own assumption and conclusion for the things that are happening, but also having to realize it doesn't actually matter at the end of the day, all the specifics and things that really go into it, and she doesn't need to like kind of get stuck on that. This is a bit different because this is a very, very, very important thing, and it's going to affect her going forward, as we see, especially at the end there. It's something that we probably should, figure out a bunch of things for. But anyways, they set it up with the way that they kind of have her bring up the idea of thinking about the swapping of the kids or like whatever actually happened, and we see her basically question that and think this is something else that could have happened, or maybe just having like that thought of, oh, maybe this is it. And I don't know exactly where she stands or where exactly she's feeling that these things went, but I'm believing that would make more sense. That's going to be the route that they go. That's where I was speculating and believing at the end of the last episode of the discussion, where none of my thoughts were like actually making sense. Like, you know, I was all over the place, but I think like I kind of got down to that root like thing that they were going to end up doing. I thought that the kids were born different days to a point that, I mean, and even I guess that they could be. It doesn't mean that we can't just take the doctor away at some point. But I figure that the priority would be we have to have the guy that we trust more being the doctor over here instead, so something could go on there, and he might have been unaware of like a situation or a thing that happened, or maybe he was the one who was behind it. We don't know like all the specifics that were in there, but it was nice to see her bring those back up and kind of question them as reasons as to why maybe he was kind of removed from the palace and banished at some point anyways, which I think is also pretty cool. So if that's the correct theory and that's something that we're going off of, and this child swap thing has happened, I have a few questions because of how they presented it. So I was under the assumption when the kids were born, we swapped them because one of them ended up dying, and then we basically just told like Aldo, oh, your kid's dead, and the other one isn't. Basically, her kid ended up starting to grow up and got a little bit older, but then died along the way. And this is where the honey and all that other stuff kind of got reconnected in for what exactly happened and how the kid ended up dying. What it appears is actually what happened is, and I mean that entirely could be the case, that all of that happened and the kid got like extremely sick and whatever else. This is where I'm like uncertain is, so at that point, is that when the swap ended up happening? But the other kid shouldn't have been born at that point, right? Because maybe I'm just stuck in my own head, because I'm understanding that one of the kids was sickly, you know, early on. It could have been a result of this other stuff happening, and then that's why we ended up swapping, so that the emperor, the person with the higher priority at the time especially, is able to actually have this healthy kid, and we can kind of fake it as that. But instead, if that isn't the case, but then two kids are still born, why do we do it later on with the other kid? You know, that doesn't make much sense to me. But also, if beforehand, maybe I guess the emperor's kid like ended up dying at some young age as well, and then when this other one was sick, they ended up doing something, and then they performed it, and then just said that he died or whatever the case. I don't know. I don't know. It's somewhere along those and mixed into my thoughts of like how all those situations could have kind of performed or been about. But I believe something along those lines ended up occurring. Anyways, the ultimate point of that is Jinshi, it appears, definitely is Aldo and the current emperor's son. So Jinshi is the prince currently, and he is not. And I wonder, because he is hidden in a way, and we're well aware of that. Is he aware of his actual role? Probably. I think that would make plenty of sense. But is he aware of the actual relation connection, like who his actual like family and all that stuff is? That I also don't know, and I wonder, because that would add a lot more to the situation and the thing that happened with Aldo at the end, right? Here we're gonna go drinking together like one last time in a way. This is, you know, or also her, like, was she well aware, you know, the kid was taken from her, but was she aware that this is still her kid at the end of the day, but she just lost all like attachment and stuff to it and wasn't allowed to have it or claim it or whatever, like, and she just kind of bought into this? I don't know. I don't know all the specifics, and I don't know if I'm just like theorizing on things that aren't like actually there or have been kind of debunked already, and I'm just kind of saying some stupid things. I wonder, because if she was aware and he's aware, that would make plenty of sense. You know, one, she's being kind of removed from something that she was like stuck in for so long, so of course she was going to be kind of breaking down in the way that she was. But that's also why, you know, they had this one last time that they were together, and then that's why he kind of breaks down and he's all upset, is because he has to see this person who's extremely close to him. I mean, it's his fucking mom basically, right? Like, be taken from him at the end of the day. And I think that like that could play plenty into that, into the way that he was kind of acting, and like why, you know, letting the vulnerable side of himself kind of come out. Now, if none of that's the case and neither of these people are aware, they don't actually know or any of that stuff, it could have just been like internal stuff from Jinshi especially that just, you know, built up over time, because he has so much of this stuff going on, and he probably has so much in his head and so much that he just can't really like vent outwardly to anybody, and he has nobody really for him because he has to live this life of in secret basically and can't actually be himself. So he kind of in this moment just like got really sad, or was maybe grateful in a way for being able to have the warmth and connection that he was able to have with somebody like Mao Mao, being able to grasp onto her in that whole scenario. That would also make sense to me. I don't know. It's some interesting thought of the way that they kind of wanted to present all this and the way that the everything kind of came about, but still leaves so many questions that can go further into whatever we decide to go into next, which I think is really, really cool. A way of them kind of going about it. They ended with, so I also might be off on this too, but they ended with talking about we have to trace back down to like the root of, or not the root, but all the connections and stuff in the family of whoever was involved with the lady in waiting girl. I can't remember her name, but we have to connect everything back. So I'm assuming we have to do something, and we have to remove of all the people who were family or relatives or just related in some sort of way or have some sort of connection or whatever it is to this, right? Because they could be people who are all in on this and working together and doing things to kind of create this stuff and like poison people or know things. Like, it's a safety thing, like, right? We have to get rid of them. Do we have to get rid of them and kill them? Do we have to get rid of them and punish them? Do we have to just remove of them? Like, what exactly is the extent of what we're doing? I don't know. But as a result, because Mama was kidnapped and then she was brought in here, she probably was brought in by somebody who was related into smuggling these people in, and has that sort of relation or whatever to this lady, which causes things to look bad and causes her to look like she has this sort of connection that she probably shouldn't, and then we're gonna have to do away with her. So if it's just a removal, I'm assuming that just means contract that she has here to work will be just kind of cut short and she's no longer allowed in, which could be an interesting route, but I don't know how that would kind of play out. We could play it into we have to kill all these people or we have to do something, which plays more into the like how she would want to die, and Jinchi would be the one who has to give the order and do all of this stuff that we kind of went over a couple episodes ago. So that would also make plenty of sense. And then we could have like a big moment of kind of clarity where we expose a lot of stuff or have a lot of things kind of come out and figure all that out, which I think would be cool too. So I don't know the direction that that's going to go, but it seems like we'll probably get into that a lot more throughout the next episode. The whole first like half is the conversation between these two and just breaking everything down, and it makes sense, the whole Lishu thing and how she gets connected to in this situation too. Lishu, somebody who has like nobody right at all, like she has no person who actually likes her and everybody treats her like absolute shit. Every single person that we've seen kind of involved. Lishu, I really like her. I'm gonna say I really like Lishu. Gyokyo is still like easily the best one, but Lishu's like great just because one, she's literally just a kid. She doesn't fucking know any better, right? So she's not doing anything wrong, and she's being just bullied and taken advantage of by all these people. So I just can't help but feel bad for her. And then she finally has somebody that's good to her and somebody that she really likes, and then we're able to have like there'll be somebody who's like a motherly figure in a way to kind of replace, you know, the mother that Lishu probably doesn't even have in the situation, but she can also be playing the role of like the child that Aldo no longer ends up having, right? And they have this like strong connection and bond between each other, and I thought that they had like this sort of beef with each other, but I guess that's not the case at all. And well, it ended up becoming the case, but it shouldn't have been. But as a result, because they were way too close, we have to kind of do away with her because of the whole honey incident. And we can't, you know, let secret spill of these things happening, you know, and start getting questions about, oh, maybe this is what happened to my fucking kid who ended up dying. And we can't mix all that in. So, nope, you got to go and you're not allowed to be around her. And we get no explanation for it at all. And she's just like, nope, you guys are separated from this point on, which is fucking crazy. And Aldo probably at this point probably wasn't informed for any reason and probably was just told that at least she doesn't fuck with her, or was just told like something happened, she's not allowed to go around her, that Alicia just like literally hasn't been coming back for whatever reason. So they've all been probably lied to, and things just don't add up at the end, so they create fucking big issues, which I'm really happy that Alicia was able to kind of go back and see her one final time there before she ended up having to move, which I think is really cool. I didn't even talk about it either, the replacement. We have to get somebody else for her too. We haven't like met anybody. Well, I guess we have, like, it could be, I don't know how that stuff works. Do they just select somebody? Political things was, as far as, I mean, I'm believing the reason as to why Lishu was kind of brought in. So it could be something like that. But like, do you have to have like some sort of status? Like, is there a situation where like Mamo becomes like one, right? A concubine in the situation? Like, can that actually happen? I don't think that would. That just, to me, I don't think plays into the story as well. But is that like a possibility? Like, does he just select whoever it is that he wants? Like, does somebody have to be like nominated or of like certain status, like within their family, or of like how does all that work? I don't know. because that would explain a lot for who we're going to get introduced to. Because if it's somebody that like we already know, we don't know any like the side girls. I feel like enough that we would promote one of them that would make enough sense here. But at the exact same time, we also just don't know like any other characters who can kind of fill that role. So I'm assuming we would just have to introduce somebody entirely new here, which fucks everything up because then it introduces a whole nother dynamic in person that we have to be kind of wary of here. And I don't I don't know. It makes things more difficult, but it definitely makes it a bit more intense, which I think is pretty cool. We break this down even more. This is the whole issue thing that we just talked about and how that went down, and then Lady just starts losing her fucking mind at the end of the day and starts crying because she has to see Aldo kind of be fucking destroyed when she loses her kid, of course, and she has to listen to that and live with the fact over and over throughout all these years that she was responsible for the loss of him and she did all this and it all the blood's on her hands at the end of the day, and it's an awful thing, right? I mean, she fucked up. She didn't know. It's not like she intentionally was doing these things. She literally had no idea. And then also having to sit there and keep that in this whole time because you're too like ashamed of what ended up happening, that you can't come clean and say the things that you did. Because even if you did, you probably would get in fucking massive trouble to begin with then. So she's trying to like hide to protect herself out of fear, and then bottle all this stuff up, and you have literally nobody that you can talk to at all about this for years and years and years. And yeah, it would cause a reaction like this where she completely breaks down, because why else would that fucking happen? Now I love those. I love how she came fair just in case. Also her excitement here when she was able just to run towards the bed and jump on it, really cute. We break things down with Jinchi. I love this moment too of the poisonous plant. She needs that little bit of tingles and needs something to feel good, which I like. And then we come up here and have our conversation. Aldo is the person that we thought it was last time. I wasn't sure if it was her or Jinchi. It ends up being her. It makes perfect sense. She was probably the best one for it to kind of be. And then Aldo just kind of spills from the fucking heart completely, reflecting on all the things and people and stuff that are just kind of lost and things that have happened over time and all these years, and her situation, the way that she feels, what it is that she actually wanted, the excitement of kind of being here, but also being kind of broken over the things that she's lost at time. And it's really fucked up. But it's literally just somebody who's probably also, while she has these close people around her, been kind of alone at the end of the day and just wants to kind of talk. And that's why Mao Mao even says like, hey, it probably would have been anybody. It didn't matter if I was the one here tonight or somebody else. She just wanted somebody to kind of, vent and say these things to when she had a chance. And it makes plenty of sense. Mao Mao falling down here, but being caught and cushioned by Jinchi is great. Of course, it creates a opening for us to kind of communicate and talk. He's being weird, right, and just latching onto her and stuff like this, but he's all drunk at the exact same time, and then just kind of holds on to her. I think it's a cute moment for the most part. I don't think it's like overly sexual or like overly like creepy or like anything. I mean, definitely if she's like let go of me and he's not and stuff, like I can see all that. But as somebody who is trying to not look at all that because it's all fictional stuff at the end of the day, I'm just gonna kind of take it as like I like it, and I think it made for a great moment, especially if him just kind of wanted to hold on to her because he said that he wanted to warm up and everything, and then her being able to see him be extremely vulnerable and start breaking down and crying over everything is pretty sweet. I don't know. I like it. I think it's a really, really cute moment because it lets her really see another side of him that she never really has. And at the exact same time, lets him kind of be comforted by somebody else for all the things that he's kind of been alone for over all these times too. We kind of surrender our position here. Mao Mao has her breakthrough and talks about the whole swapping situation and what all could have came about and happened. I love Lishu getting her moment here and being able to see each other. And I think this is really, really sweet. And I'm happy that that actually happened. Bad news comes along, of course, as Mao Mao is the one being discovered here because he believes that maybe, I guess she's lying in the situation. Although she wasn't, but it just seems to be unfortunate events. And she was involved and kidnapped and sold through people that she probably shouldn't have. And if it was like almost anybody else, she probably would have been okay in the situation, but she's not. And it works perfect because it's convenient for the plot, right? It works great. So I'm interested to see the direction that goes. Like I talked about a little bit earlier with the situation, there's multiple ways I think that it can go. And I'm just curious if it goes either of them or just takes me on something that I didn't even begin to think about, which is usually the case. So I'd be excited to see that. That would be all for me. I actually really, really love this episode. I don't know if it was like as great as I'm like saying it is, like if it actually was, or if it's just because I was so like off on so much like last time, or so like kind of lost and confused, that being able to see it all like come to life here throughout the entirety of this episode made me really like it a lot more than maybe it was in quality or whatever. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. I enjoyed it a ton. So I think that's all that actually should matter. That's going to be all from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed half as much as I did. If you liked it, all the like and subscribe do mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the other videos on the channel. Leave any comments with this series. I will be back for episode, what's next, 12? Very soon. I'm going to go watch that right now. You guys have a good one. Peace.